Welcome back to NBC News Channel. Today, we will be diving deep into one of the most dramatic and tension-filled weeks in days of our lives' history. This Tuesday and Wednesday are shaping up to be absolutely unmissable, with custody battles that will leave you stunned, unexpected confrontations that will make your jaw drop, and life-altering confessions that could change everything in Salem. Jennifer's shocking confession, a mother's desperate gambit for justice. On Wednesday, November 26th, the tension reaches a boiling point when Jennifer Horton, portrayed brilliantly by Kathy McLean, decides that the time has come to reveal her carefully guarded secret to her trusted confidant, Julie Williams. This isn't just any ordinary conversation. This is the moment where Jennifer opens up about a decision that could fundamentally alter the lives of everyone involved in this custody nightmare that has gripped Salem. Jennifer's confession centers on a bold and controversial move. She has secretly hired the formidable attorney Justin Kiriakis, expertly played by veteran actor Whaley Kurth, to help her mount a serious legal challenge for custody of Chad Dimra's children. This is not a decision she made lightly. The weight of this revelation will undoubtedly shock Julie to her core. Will Julie stand by Jennifer's side and support this aggressive legal maneuver, or will she express concerns about whether this battle is truly the best path forward? The maternal instinct runs deep, and Jennifer is willing to go to extraordinary lengths to protect those children from what she perceives as a dangerous influence. Jennifer's reasoning is clear in her mind. Kat Green, portrayed with delicious antagonism by Annalyn McCord, represents everything she fears and abhors. The clash between these two formidable women has been brewing for weeks, and Jennifer has apparently decided that half measures won't suffice anymore. However, Jennifer may be banking on Julie's unwavering support precisely because they share a common enemy in Kat Green. Yet this assumption could prove dangerously wrong. Julie, in her wisdom and measured perspective, might have reservations about Jennifer's aggressive tactics. Just because two people dislike the same person doesn't necessarily mean they'll agree on how to handle the situation. Julie has always valued careful consideration over rash action, and Jennifer's bold move might trigger a more complex reaction than simple solidarity. Medical dramas and hospital encounters when love and duty collide. Meanwhile, the hospital becomes a hub of emotional activity and complicated interactions. Brady, played with characteristic intensity by actor Eric Martsolf, finds himself spending considerable time with Sarah, brought to life by Lindsay Godfrey. The setting is intimate yet fraught with tension. The sterile hospital environment serving as a backdrop for their complicated personal dynamics. Sarah's presence in the hospital stems from a terrifying medical emergency. She suffered a severe anaphylactic shock that left everyone desperately worried about her survival. This life-threatening incident has shaken everyone to their core, particularly those closest to her. Enter Xander Cook, portrayed with rugged charm by Paul Telfer, who has become inextricably involved in Sarah's medical crisis and personal drama. Given the intensity of what Sarah has just endured and the complicated web of relationships surrounding her, it's virtually certain that Xander will make his way to her hospital room to check on her condition and offer support during her recovery period. The hospital scenes become a crucible where emotions run high, where unspoken feelings bubble beneath the surface, and where old wounds can either be healed or further aggravated. Brady's visits carry their own significance, a mixture of protective instinct and emotional complexity that defines their relationship. These quiet moments between characters in a hospital setting often become the most revelatory, where people stripped of their usual defenses reveal their true feelings and vulnerabilities. An unexpected social encounter when the past collides with the present. Attempting to escape the hospital drama and inject some normalcy into their lives, Philip Kiriakis, brought to life by Jean-Paul Lavoisier, makes a thoughtful gesture by taking Gabby Hernandez, portrayed with fierce intensity by Sherry Jimenez, out for an evening of dining and refined entertainment. What should have been a pleasant, romantic escape becomes something entirely different when fate intervenes with a most inconvenient meeting. At the very venue where Philip and Gabby are trying to enjoy their evening, they unexpectedly encounter J.J. Devereaux, portrayed by Casey Moss, who happens to be one of Gabby's former romantic partners. This collision of present and past creates an immediate tension that hangs heavy in the air. J.J.'s presence transforms the carefully planned romantic evening into a minefield of awkwardness and potential conflict. The sophisticated atmosphere suddenly feels claustrophobic, and what should have been an intimate dinner becomes a delicate social navigation exercise. Philip Kiriakis, true to his nature and his particular brand of personality, seems almost destined to amplify this awkwardness rather than diffuse it. Philip has never been known for his discretion or his ability to gracefully handle uncomfortable social situations. In fact, Philip seems to possess an almost uncanny talent for saying exactly the wrong thing at precisely the wrong moment, making tense situations exponentially worse. His presence in this already uncomfortable scenario will likely transform a simple awkward encounter into a full-blown dramatic confrontation, adding another layer of complication to an already tangled romantic web. Salem's social hub, unexpected connections, and community moments. Back at the local bar, Roman Brady, the seasoned and dependable character brought to life by Josh Taylor, orchestrates an impromptu entertainment event. He approaches the legendary Steve Patch Johnson, portrayed by the incomparable Stephen Nichols, and his wife Kayla Brady, played with warmth by Mary Beth Evans. With an unusual proposal, he invites them to participate in a trivia competition at the bar. This seemingly casual social gathering becomes more significant than it might initially appear. In the midst of all the chaos, drama, and personal crises that plague Salem, these characters recognize the importance of maintaining their community bonds and finding moments of levity. A trivia night represents more than just entertainment. It's a chance for longtime friends and family members to connect on a lighter level, to remind themselves that life isn't always about serious battles and dramatic confrontations. Tuesday's mounting pressures, difficult truths, and troubling revelations. As the week escalates, Tuesday, November 25th, brings its own set of intense and emotionally charged moments. Alex Kyriakis, portrayed by Robert Scott Wilson, takes on an increasingly aggressive and pressing demeanor with Stephanie Johnson, played with nuance by Abigail Klein. The subject of his intense questioning remains ambiguous, but the possibilities are numerous and each one carries significant weight. Alex could be pressing Stephanie about her entanglement with Jeremy Horton, portrayed by Trevor Donovan. Or he might be focusing on details related to an upcoming book tour that has implications for multiple characters. Whatever the topic, Alex's intensity suggests that considerable stakes are involved. The tension between these characters speaks to deeper emotional undercurrents and unresolved issues that demand clarification. At the same time, Brady finds himself in the difficult position of needing to communicate something profoundly troubling to Belle French, portrayed with dramatic depth by Martha Madison. These difficult truths seem to cascade one upon another. Brady's revelation might concern an incident where young Rachel DeMera hurts Sarah, an event that would naturally alarm Brady given his paternal instincts and his complicated feelings toward his daughter's actions and their consequences. However, the scope of Brady's concerns might extend even further into darker territory. There's a possibility that seems increasingly likely given the narrative threads being woven that Rachel has made a shocking confession. She may have admitted to being the one who shot E.J. DeMera. This revelation would send shockwaves through Salem's entire power structure. If true, it raises enormous questions about accountability, about justice, about a young person's moral development, and about how such a revelation should be handled. Brady faces an emotional and ethical quandary that no parent should ever have to navigate. He appears to be caught between his desire to protect his daughter and his recognition that serious actions have serious consequences. His conversation with Belle takes on an unofficial tone. Brady seems to want Belle's perspective not as a prosecutor executing her official duties, but as a trusted advisor and friend who understands the legal and moral implications of what might have happened. The revelation also carries implications for Kristen DeMera, portrayed with intensity by Eileen Davidson. Kristen's recent escape from prison has already created a volatile situation in Salem. If Rachel is indeed responsible for the E.J. shooting, this new information could fundamentally alter the trajectory of multiple storylines and character arcs. Teen confessions, the burden of growing up in Salem. Amidst all the adult drama and complex legal battles, young Tate Black, portrayed by Leo Howard, finds himself carrying an emotional burden that feels overwhelming for someone his age. In a deeply personal moment, Tate confides in Ariana Horton, played by Marissa Reyes, opening up about the various struggles and challenges that weigh heavily on his young shoulders. Tate's confessions likely center on his troubled relationship with his sister Rachel and the concern he feels about her psychological state and moral trajectory. Additionally, Tate carries the worrying that comes from having a grandmother struggling with serious health issues, the kind of familial concern that mature teenagers carry with them even as they're trying to navigate their own coming-of-age experiences. Beyond these specific issues, Tate seems burdened by the general chaos and dysfunction that characterizes his family dynamics and his Salem community. Holly Jonas, portrayed by Ashley Puzemis, demonstrates her developing maturity by delivering a compelling and articulate interview. This interview could be related to several possible projects. It might involve her perspective on a Horton family documentary project that's been circulating through the community. Or it could concern her hopes for a promising position at Titan Publishing, an opportunity that would represent significant professional advancement for a young woman at her career stage. Unexpected encounters when past relationships meet present realities. Aaron Green, portrayed by Louis Tomeo, finds himself in a profoundly awkward situation when he crosses paths with the vivacious Chanel Dupree, played with spirited energy by Raven Bowens. The complication: Chanel is holding Aaron's baby, a child whose existence and parentage Aaron only recently discovered. This encounter carries tremendous emotional weight for Aaron. Chanel approaches the situation with empathy and understanding, drawing on her own experience as a biological parent who initially wasn't part of her child's life. She recognizes the shock and disorientation that Aaron must be experiencing. However, what Chanel views with compassion and understanding, Aaron perceives as an overwhelming avalanche of responsibility and rapid-fire life changes. The contrast between their perspectives illuminates a generational difference in how they process unexpected parenthood. Tate had considerable time to process and understand his biological connection to Holly and what that relationship would mean. His discovery came gradually, with space for emotional adjustment. Aaron, conversely, has been thrust into paternity with virtually no preparation, no adjustment period, and suddenly faces the reality of signing official documentation and meeting his biological child in a matter of what feels like mere moments. The speed and intensity of this revelation has left Aaron reeling and struggling to adjust to his suddenly complicated reality. Thanksgiving week, youth finding refuge in friendship. Despite their individual struggles and family complications, the younger generation of Salem's residents find solace and support in their peer relationships. During this Thanksgiving week, Tate, Ariana, Holly, and Aaron gather together in a touching scene that speaks to the resilience of young people facing adult-sized challenges. This has been your NBC News Channel update on Days of Our Lives. Tune in all week for these unmissable episodes where custody battles escalate, secrets shatter relationships, and young people discover that friendship might be the most valuable commodity of all in Salem.